So I know that a lot of you guys are here for the Patreon reviews, and I'll be working on another one over the next week, but today I just kinda want to talk about a rather wholesome event that happened over at Twitter. And I haven't been on Twitter for a while, and I decided to hop on just yesterday. And apparently last week a lot of artists' art block was cured. And boy, do I wish I hopped onto Twitter last week. If you were cursed with art block and you were doom scrolling through Twitter, your timeline may have been blessed by this woman. The woman who, overnight, became every single artist's dream muse. Okay, well, I'm not sure if it was overnight, but it really seems like it was the case. Anyway, meet K Theodore, who is active on both Instagram and TikTok. She's also a model under Kaleidoscope. Here's her profile. Scrolling through her TikTok feed though, it looks like a lot of her stuff revolves around showcasing the versatility of black hairstyles. And let's be honest here, we don't see a lot of that in popular media. It's either one of these two hairstyles. And to be completely honest, I'm very glad that Twitter is giving her the appreciation she deserves, because
I remember I was washing my hair one day in like 7th grade, and I took a picture because I thought it looked so beautiful. The next day I go to school and I wanted to show my friends, and well, friends, they weren't really my friends, but I just wanted to seem like cool, and I was like, oh, you know, I want them to be my friend, whatever, that type of situation. And when I showed them my hair, I remember this girl, we're gonna call her L because her name started with an L, and she just burst out laughing, and she was like, guys, you gotta come see this is the funniest thing. And then that's also where I got the nickname Sid, because they were saying like from that angle apparently it looked like Sid the Sloth, and I was like, okay. But I didn't want to show them the picture. I didn't show them the picture after that, and I just lost all the confidence to wear my afro. So it wasn't until like way later in life that I started to enjoy my afro. But yeah, that was the sad story of which shot whatever curiosity I had of wearing my hair natural.
first of all, fuck the people who made fun of her. They're probably not people you want to be around with anyway, because if they said that about her, they probably also have a lot of other L ticks as well. Now you may be wondering exactly what did she do to become Art Twitter's Muse of the Year. To be honest, I really don't know, but I am glad that Art Twitter decided to unite for once and elevate her to become Muse of the Year. Was it the hair? Was it the makeup? I really don't know, but there's a lot of very unique things about Miss Theodore that makes everyone want to draw her. I know I will at some point. I have a couple of ideas, but I'll do it once I finish this drawing. It's not looking too good right now, but we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Now, thanks to Miss Theodore, a lot of the artists on Twitter managed to crawl out of their holes and start to get busy. If you know what worm grunting is, I imagine that's how it pretty much looked like. Not saying that as an insult, I'm just saying that it's how I imagine it going down. But let's take a quick look at some of the amazing work artists came up with. Feel free to check out the artists too, there's so many of them. These are just the ones that stood out to me. First one I thought was kind of funny was how people were for some reason collecting hairstyles like Pokemon. I don't know any of these symbols, so if you guys want to explain them to me, go ahead in the comments below, but I know Miss Theodore is somewhere at the bottom, like bottom row, third from the left. This one stood out to me because of how the artist simplified the human form, but also because of the bottom left drawing. Look at that perspective work. I also like the way the artist drew the personality of the character. This one's not a drawing of Miss Kayra or anything, it's just a meme I wanted to show you guys. For this one, I think it's because of the stylization. It's very similar to Disney, but also not at the same time. I don't know how to describe it. It's a very simple style, but it's a style that I really like. Maybe it's also because of the use of the color. I have Twitter on dark mode on my computer. This one is probably one of my favorites. It's got a lot of flow to it for some reason. I think that's the best way I can describe it, but it's a very simple style, but it also looks complex at the same time. I also love the way how the artist brings attention to the face using the hair in the background. Speaking of the background, look at that. Look at how detailed that is. Very fitting. It adds a bit of like royalty to the character. And it doesn't stop with just digital artists. We also have people working with clay, making sculptures of Miss Kayra. I think the reason why this drawing stood out to me is because of how it reminds me of Dragon Age. And finally, the winning artist for me is this one. Pack it up, it's over, go home. She's even started the trend of sharing hair art, which is something society needs in my opinion. But in true Twitter fashion, all good things don't last very long. This artist did catch heat for the way she drew Miss Theodore. To be more specific, people were having problems with the way the skin color was depicted, some even saying that this is whitewashing. Some people were trying to defend the artist, saying that it could just be a skill issue. Which is fair, some people are in different stages of their art journey. And instead of people dogpiling on artists who are clearly still developing their artistic skills, it might help them more if they had comments like this, where it points them towards the right direction. It doesn't serve the artist any good if all the comments on the drawing is just a bunch of people berating them for not depicting the subject accurately. I think it's incredibly important that instead of bullying artists for getting certain things wrong, also known as unsolicited feedback if you can even call it that, we should instead be guiding them without coming across as assholes. I mean, there is that saying, right? It takes a village to raise a child. If you crush a child's confidence in something, their curiosity for that subject lowers significantly, maybe even disappears. Maybe somewhere down the line they might pick up that subject, but they'll always remember that moment when you crushed their hopes and dreams. And that's the thing that bugs me most about posting art online. Lots of brain-dead people are just out there to hate for the sake of hating, like Dio from JoJo. Bottom line, if an artist wants critique or feedback, they will actively look for the appropriate space. But it seems like to a lot of people online, much like nuisance streamers, every space is the appropriate space. All this to say, is there really a problem with the drawing if Miss Theodore herself personally picked the photo as a part of a collage of drawings that paid respects to her? Anyway, that's it for the video. I'll leave links to K Theodore's Instagram, TikTok, and model page if you guys are interested. Let's nominate Miss Theodore into the 100 most beautiful faces of the world. She deserves it, and it's also a big middle finger to that bitch L.